Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and deceased. It is I, Emily Sophia, here to break down for you a little bit on the late side. I apologize. The latest episode of The Walking Dead, we are on season 6, episode 5 now, so spoiler alert. Before I dive into the mad thick of things, as I shall be bearing all in this review, and without further ado, because I already uploaded this late, let's get into the business, shall we? So, for as much as I have adored season 6 overall so far, it's been filled with high octane thrills of pretty much every kind. Like, every single episode has felt like a finale and a premiere all mixed together into one. So inevitably there was going to be a bit of downtime in between the insanity and even in between the more character-centric episodes, unless, of course, the one with Morgan is just one. But so we all knew that this time was going to come, that we were going to take a bit of a breather and have a bit of a slower-paced episode to kind of break everything down. There was, at the same time, a lot to be broken down. So while this episode kept me more on the emotionally constipated end of the spectrum, being that we still don't know the fate of Glenn, we at least got to experience a bit of a cathartic revelation with Maggie as she goes down into the trenches with Aaron, who feels guilty about leading the wolves to their location, and wants to accompany Maggie on her mission to find Glenn. Ultimately, we discover that Maggie's got something in the oven of the womanly womb. So that's going on, and that's something that I think about 99.9% of the fan community already called. You guys are way smarter than I could ever hope to be. But yeah, so that's what's new in the world of Miss Maggie Green. But yeah, she doesn't know what's going on with Glenn. We don't know what's going on with Glenn. And like within 5 minutes of the beginning of the episode, they were putting all the names of everyone that they lost in the wolves attack up on the wall, and then Glenn and Nicholas's names were right there. Really, before we had any time to ponder or discuss things, all of a sudden we see that everybody is kind of preemptively declaring them dead. And it sucks because our main characters are all kind of scattered, so it's a really difficult place to be in, where we are lost in the Bermuda Triangle of not knowing what happened to Glenn. Everybody is spread apart, so the tension at this stage in the game is very different from what we're typically used to. Switching up the formula a little bit. And now, of course, the stakes are even higher than before, being that Maggie is on her way to motherhood. And the last major character we had in the same boat met a very sorry demise in the prison. So anxiety abounds. I'm feeling it big time. But I do so appreciate the moment that we got to have with Maggie, as she's like, I don't get to know what happens. I don't know what's happened. I don't get to know. But ultimately, she goes to the wall and begins to erase Glenn's name to hold out for some hope, which I think all of us are kind of trying to do. And it just sucks that I feel like they're going to draw out the time between what we think happened to Glenn and what we discover actually happened. I feel like they're probably going to protrude I don't know. I'm mixing up all my words, but they're probably going to make us wait until at least the mid-season finale to know. I'd be surprised if they made us wait till the next half of the season, because that's pretty gnarly. I'm going to be having myself a blue Christmas if I have to be in that waiting boat. I would certainly not like that. I don't think anybody would. But then again, maybe we've all been bad this year, and this is the way that Santa is punishing us, is by working in cahoots with the evildoers of The Walking Dead, the execs and the writers, and this is, that's where he's setting up his headquarters this year. So, whoops! Everything we experience in the show now is going to be the direct outcome of how good or bad we were this year, and how deserving we are of Christmas cheer. That's what it just is saying. I really need to vlog more. I have missed this. I'm glad I'm making this video right now. Anyway, so there are other things, of course, beyond what happened with Aaron and Maggie. And I do appreciate the fact that, like, even though we don't see Aaron a ton, he's, of all the Alexandrians, he and Jessie are kind of like the two main figures that I care about. We did get to have a little moment with Denise, is that her name? The doctor reading War and Peace and trying to keep random people from dying and not be anxious about it. And apparently also trying to not be anxious about kindling a relationship with Tara, which that kind of comes to fruition this week. Lots of kissing, lots of intimacy and stuff in this episode, at least as compared to ones prior. But yeah, I actually did see that coming. I could definitely tell because, I mean, Tara is such a consummate sweetheart through and through. I mean, like, I'll be darned if you're a man or a woman or whatever and you're not attracted to her, because she's so sweet and so encouraging and so genuine. So there's now officially something kind of going on with her and Denise, perchance, and yeah, I could see it, and I felt like that's kind of what they were working their way towards. We haven't seen Tara in a relationship actually in a very long time. That was all kind of in the flashback governor stuff, so it'll be interesting to kind of see what's going on there. I might be a little bit stupid for thinking this, so you can totally feel that I'm stupid because I might be. But when I see people in Alexandria who are of a somewhat larger proportion, bigger, perhaps overweight, I think to myself, how? Like, have they really created such a self-sustaining community that people who, like, they're able to maintain that weight? Or I don't know. I see characters like Denise and I'm like, that's really interesting. Not to judge, I'm just like, it just goes to show the difference between the group that we've been with in the trenches, in the wilderness, and the madness and the mayhem and near starvation, and these guys here who apparently when everybody's in a bad mood, they raid the food bank and get pissy, and yeah. So I'm gonna chalk it up to the fact that they've had it mighty good in Alexandria, but of course an episode like this kind of really draws attention to how crappy the majority of the Alexandrians are. I would very much like to care about more of them than I actually do, but they're basically cannon fodder, and we're used to this kind of scenario. You know, if they don't buck up and step up, then why are we spending our time with them? You know, because they're all pretty much the cliches of those who refuse to adapt, refuse to get up and get over themselves. We see characters like, oh goodness, the Deanna, who is going on a bit of a personal journey at the moment. A lot of what we saw with her character this week, I don't know why it wasn't as compelling to me. She generally walked around looking very upset and squinty-eyed and trying to come to terms with the world and her stupid idiot son who gets drunk and steals the food after telling everybody not to, and then he goes up to the wall to take over for Carol, and he's sitting there eating his food and looking at the walkers and it's like, I don't care about you, why are you alive? Anyway, so she's dealing with a lot of guilt about what happened to her husband, about what this community is become, and she's really trying to drive the point home that this is now Rick Grimes' territory. And it's kind of interesting how many characters keep, like, beating us over the head with that, like, we need Rick, and it's like, I know, he's pretty cool. But at the same time, like, find it within you. You are the only one of you, and Rick is the only one of Rick. You can all be intelligent and be your own people and find ways to step up and lead and take charge in a good way. Come on, guys. But so Deanna, she's trying. She's a born leader in a lot of ways, and I think is in a similarly dark, kind of fugue-ish place like Rick was back after the prison fell, and after losing Herschel and all of that jazz. So, you know, hopefully she's going to find her own. I'd love to really see her emerge and take charge in a fresh way and to not be so saddled with guilt like she is. I'd also like to see her learn that you gotta aim for the head, sweetheart. I don't care how flustered and angry you are, but how is about to make sure your target is down before you go stabby stab stab with a broken bottle in the chest over and over again? Because that's just, it's not efficient. I'm just saying. Technique. Anyhow, so Jessie and Rick are a thing going on, and I'm okay with it, I suppose. I still feel a little bit uncomfortable about the whole affair, mainly being that when Rick and Jessie kind of kindled their relationship, he was in a really weird place and she was in a really dark place with her husband in the picture, and so it's like, I almost feel like maybe even a little more time would have hurt for them, but it's okay. It's okay, and I think that Jessie has evolved to the point where, like, she understands where Rick comes from, so maybe they're, like, now that she's kind of at that place, they're not trying to, like, rehash everything and re-reconcile, and I don't really know if Rick, did he ever really kind of apologize for his behavior before? It seems like he's more attempting to do that in actions by, like, keeping her informed of what's going on and generally not being a shitlord, but I don't know. So, but yeah, of all the women in the game, I did want Michonne and Rick to get together. That would still be a thing I'd be into, but I'm okay with the relationship so far. I don't know what's going on with Jessie's son, Ron. He seems like kind of a pooper. I don't really know what his motives are. I don't really trust him. He's kind of a dumb kid. And we'll see what future things happen with him and Carl and Enid. Still, there's lots of big questions, lots of unknowns, lots of kind of brewing craziness in the background at this point. Gosh, I'm trying to think of who else I'm missing. So, we haven't heard from Father Gabriel in forever. What the crap is he even doing? I would, quite frankly, I'd actually be totally okay if he disappeared. But I'd love to know what's going on with Morgan and Carol and everybody else who is out in the woods and trying to lead the rest of the zombies away. Yeah, it looks like we're going to get more of a focus on Abraham and Sasha and Daryl next week. Probably still no Glenn, because they are going to dangle that ever before us like a little carrot in front of a donkey. And so we just plod along, being dragged to our doom and despair. I don't know. I just want answers. I just need to know. It's all so constipating. But yeah, is there anything else major that I missed in this episode? Yeah, I guess it's tough to kind of be trapped within the walls of Alexandria, because we're trapped with a lot of idiots, and we know that somebody's going to do something stupid that's going to compromise the group, and it's all those, like, scary plot things that we don't exactly want to deal with. I'm actually pretty bummed that we didn't get to see how Rick escaped from the walkers in the woods. I think I thought that he was actually further out, and it was going to be, like, this whole crazy ordeal for him to escape from them. And I really built that up in my head. So when all of a sudden he just kind of like showed up and nobody really directly talked about what happened with the wolves, I guess I felt a little bit cheated. I kind of wanted to see more of a breakdown of that and to like hear what Rick actually thought about what happened with the wolves and to like talk to Morgan, because isn't there still a wolf in the sheep house? I don't know. I just have a lot of questions, and I think we're going to hit the ground running again next week. I'm almost sure of that. So, thank you guys very much for watching my review and for putting up with my slightly erratic and thin upload schedule of late. I really want to be doing more, but, the full-time freaking working life is digging into my business. But please, by all means, tweet at me with anything The Walking Dead related or TV related. I'd love to hear your thoughts about life and stuff. You can also follow my Facebook and things, and there's links in the description to all the jazz in the world. So thank you guys, as always, for being your delightful selves. Leave your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this episode? I mean, meh. Not a bad meh, just kind of a meh. And like I said, if there's anything I totally spaced out on, then please do your thing in the comments, and I will be there if I can. So, you guys take care. And as always, I will be back before you